In 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed across an ocean no European had crossed before. That same year, the average European peasant was heating his home the exact same way his ancestors did in 500 BC. A fire in the middle of a room with a hole in the roof for smoke. While Columbus was discovering a new world, Europe still hadn't rediscovered something Rome had perfected 15 centuries earlier, a heating system so advanced that modern engineers, when they first studied it, assumed the measurements were wrong. Floors that were warm to the touch in the middle of winter, walls that radiated heat evenly through every room, bathhouses kept at 3 different temperatures simultaneously, all without a single radiator, a single pipe, or a single electric wire. The Romans called it the hypocaust. And when Rome fell, it didn't just disappear. It was forgotten so completely that Europe spent over 1,000 years freezing, surrounded by the ruins of the solution.
How does a civilization lose a technology that sophisticated? And what does it tell us about everything else we think we know about progress?
The hypocaust worked on a principle so elegant, it almost feels like cheating. Beneath the floor, Rome created an empty space, roughly 2 feet high, supported by hundreds of small brick columns called pilae. Hot air from a furnace, called the praefurnium, was forced into this space and circulated underneath the entire floor. The same air then rose through hollow tiles built directly into the walls, heating the room from every surface simultaneously. Not from above, not from one side, from everywhere at once. The floor temperature in a Roman bathhouse could reach 50 degrees Celsius. Visitors didn't wear sandals in the caldarium, the hottest room, because the floor would burn bare feet. And this wasn't luxury reserved for emperors. Archaeological evidence shows hypocausts in private homes across Britain, Germany, North Africa, and Syria.
Roman soldiers stationed on Hadrian's Wall, in one of the coldest, most remote postings in the empire, had underfloor heating in their barracks. On the Scottish border, 2,000 years ago, a Roman legionnaire in northern Britain was warmer in January than a French nobleman in the 15th century. That contrast alone should stop you cold, because it raises a question that historians have argued about for decades and never fully answered. The technology wasn't destroyed, it was abandoned. When Rome collapsed in the 5th century, the hypocaust didn't vanish in fires or invasions. The systems were still there, intact, functional, sitting under the floors of villas and bathhouses across Europe. Archaeologists have found hypocausts in near-perfect condition, sealed under centuries of soil, still structurally sound after 1,500 years. Nobody blew them up. Nobody decided they were dangerous. People simply stopped using them. And this is the part that genuinely disturbs engineers and historians alike, because it wasn't a question of materials. Brick, mortar, fired clay, nothing in the hypocaust required technology that disappeared with Rome. A competent medieval builder could have reconstructed one with materials available in any European village. But nobody did, for over 1,000 years. The most compelling explanation isn't technical, it's organizational. The hypocaust required slaves, not to build, to operate. Someone had to feed the furnace continuously, day and night, through winter. In the Roman economy, that labor was essentially free. In post-Roman Europe, it wasn't. So the technology didn't die because it stopped working. It died because the system that made it affordable collapsed, and nobody who came after was willing to ask whether there was another way. But here's what makes this story genuinely remarkable. Someone eventually did ask. In 1716, a Swedish engineer named Martin Trewald visited the ruins of a Roman villa in northern England. He had been sent to study something else entirely, But when local workers showed him what was beneath the floor, the columns, the channels, the hollow walls, he stood there for a long time without speaking. Then he went home and built one. Trewald's system heated a greenhouse in Newcastle and worked exactly as the Roman original had. He published his findings. The engineering community was fascinated. And then, once again, almost nothing happened. Because by 1716, Europe had already committed to a different solution: the fireplace, the stove, the chimney. Infrastructure had been built around these technologies. Buildings were designed for them. Entire industries depended on them. The hypocaust had been rediscovered, and it was still ignored. This pattern, a superior technology overlooked not because it doesn't work, but because the world has already organized itself around something inferior, has a name in economics. It's called path dependence. And the Roman hypocaust is one of the purest examples in human history. But there's one more layer to this story, one that changes how you think about the Romans themselves, because the hypocaust wasn't just a heating system. For Rome, it was something far more important than warmth.
The Romans didn't build the hypocaust because they were cold. They built it because of what heat meant. The bathhouse, the thermae, was the center of Roman public life. It was where business was conducted, politics negotiated, friendships formed, philosophies debated. The hypocaust made it possible to stay for hours, in comfort, in winter, in Britain. The technology wasn't just engineering. It was the physical infrastructure of civilization itself. When the hypocaust disappeared, the bathhouse disappeared with it. And when the bathhouse disappeared, so did the particular kind of public life it supported. The daily mixing of classes, the shared civic space, the hours of unhurried conversation that Romans considered essential to being human. Medieval Europe didn't just lose a heating system, it lost a way of being together. Modern underfloor heating, now standard in millions of homes across Scandinavia, Germany, and Japan, works on virtually identical principles to the Roman hypocaust: hot water instead of hot air. But the same logic, the same geometry, the same understanding of how heat moves through a building. We rediscovered it. Eventually. It only took 15 centuries. Which raises the question that should genuinely unsettle you. What else did Rome figure out that we haven't rediscovered yet? What else is sitting under the rubble, intact, functional, waiting, while we freeze?